Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how to fly all of these quads with just one receiver. Now this little EP2 receiver is basically equivalent to the XM Plus receiver and more. It has more distance and also telemetry, so you can use Betaflight LUA script from your transmitter to adjust the PIDs, the rates, VTX settings, and even your GPS rescue settings. So I went ahead and uninstalled all of the XM Plus receivers and other FlySky compatible receivers from all of my quads and prepped them so that I can use just this one ELRS receiver. So here is my EP2 ELRS receiver prepped with a male 4-pin JST connector. And here I have my Emax Hawk 5 Sport prepped with a female 4-pin JST connector. So you get the idea. Simply connect and secure the wire somewhere and the receiver someplace on the quadcopter. I like to use a little ball of poster putty and just stick the receiver somewhere on the top somewhere, and the wiring that is sticking out, flapping around, get another little ball of poster putty and secure the wire as well so it doesn't flap around. Now it is ready to go. So here I have my Radio Master Zorro ELRS radio bound to the ELRS receiver. So let's go ahead and power it up. And let's arm it. There you go. Now, here is my Holy Bro Copus 1 prepped with the 1.25 millimeter 4-pin JST connector, the female. Now the 1.25 millimeter refers to the distance between the pins. Now I had to order this JST connectors from AliExpress because I could not find it anywhere else. I'll leave a link down below. So simply disconnect the receiver from this quadcopter. Just unstick the poster putty and disconnect the JST connector just like that. And let me go ahead and take the battery off of this one. Leave that one here. And let's go ahead and put it on the Copus 1. And connect the receiver via the 4-pin JST connector, and just place the receiver somewhere on the top. The poster putty is very, very strong. It will not come off unless you take them off, or if you crash and you hit a branch or something like that. So there you go. I just put the receiver from my Hawk 5 Sport to the Copus 1, power it up. Okay, here's the radio and arming it. See, just like that. So with one receiver, you can fly all of your quads if you have it all prepped. So here I have my hobby-made Comet 5 prepped. I have the Diatone GT 195 prepped. I have my Tyro 119 prepped as well. And here's my Emax Hawk 5 also prepped, ready to go. Just make sure the RX and the TX wires match up so that it will work with this one master receiver. And if you want to add more receivers, just make sure the wiring is the same to the 4-pin JST connector. Now you can do this to any receiver you want, even the XM Plus receiver. You just have to secure the antenna wires somewhere on the quadcopter. But the beauty of this EP2 receiver is this built-in ceramic antenna. So you don't have to worry about placing the antenna somewhere. You just have to make sure you place the receiver securely on the quadcopter. Now, here's the sweet part of this whole wire prepping idea. Not only you can do this with the EP2 ELRS receiver, one receiver to fly all your quads, but you could also use the EP1 ELRS receiver as well. Now, all you got to do is just connect, just like I did before, with the EP2 receiver, and secure it on the quadcopter, something like this. If you are going for a little short cruise. And it's already bound, so let me arm it. There you go. And you can cruise around. And if you want to check out something a little further away and you want the distance that the EP1 receiver with the antenna provides, simply connect just like I did. Make sure the wiring is the same. Just connect. Use some putty to place the receiver somewhere, and now use a little bit more putty to secure the antenna somewhere. I like to just kind of secure it on the top of the camera mount, just like that. Put another ball of poster putty right here or something to secure it even further. So you get the idea. So you can swap out different types of receiver as well, as long as you got the wiring the same way. So here we go. Once again, just like that. Pretty cool, isn't it? So here's a little bonus. Since the ELRS uses the same protocol as Crossfire, simply place the wires in the same order on the quadcopter and the receiver of the Crossfire model that you are using, and you can easily switch out from ELRS to Crossfire and vice versa. Of course, you have to do a little more work to secure the antenna of the Crossfire receiver, just like if you want to use the EP1 ELRS receiver, since they both have an external antenna. So here I have my B-Flight 210 prepped with the same 4-pin JST connector, but I have my Crossfire receiver just taped onto the front arm, and the antenna is going across the other arm. This one of those small flat antennas. I just have it electric taped on there. So let me go ahead and power this up. And here I have my TX16S, the gold version. This one has the Crossfire module in the back. So let's go ahead and arm this baby right now. There you go. And it is Crossfire protocol. So I can simply remove it, and it's not that hard to do so because all I did was electric tape the receiver onto the arm and also onto the other arm for the antenna. So let me go ahead and remove that, and I'm going to place it on the Tyro 119, and we'll see if it works in this quadcopter. So here's the Crossfire setup that I just removed from my B-Flight 210. I have the Crossfire receiver in there, shrink wrapped, the 4 wires coming out to the JST connector, the male, and here's the antenna. It's one of those flat antennas, you just stick it. So let's go ahead and place this system, the Crossfire system, onto my Tyro 119, which was prepped for the ELRS, remember? So connect. Let's secure the receiver somewhere. I'm just going to secure it just temporarily, just like that, with some poster putty. This poster putty is just crazy awesome. All right, just leave it here so I don't whack anything. So there you go. And power this one up.
Telemetry recovered.
Look at that, telemetry recovered. So there you go. And the radio, let's go ahead and arm. So you can switch out receivers from different protocols. So that is just simply awesome. So the cross-platform jumping is just simply awesome. You can fly with the Crossfire one day. You can go ahead and fly with the ELRS another day. Just make sure you take the correct radio for the correct receiver. Now, in Betaflight Receivers tab, you will need to disable RSSI since you're coming off of the XM Plus receiver, and activate link quality and use link quality to monitor receiver connection signal strength. So both the ELRS system and the Crossfire system swap out doesn't cause any issues. So you can save money this way and choose whichever receiver you want to use for the type of flight you are doing that day for any of your quadcopters. So here I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate the installation of the pin prepping process on my Tyro 129. Now it will be the same exact way if you have the Tyro 119 because both of these quadcopters have the same components. Now the process will be similar on other models, but the basic wiring and the Betaflight configuration will be the same. Okay, so let's start removing the top plate. Unscrew the antenna. Just loosen up these nuts. Get the VTX off, put it on the side, and there's the flight controller. Okay, so on the flight controller, this plug right here, that will be for the receiver. And I have my XM Plus receiver underneath of the camera, so we can go ahead and remove this now. There you go. And we can also remove the antennas for the XM Plus. Let me take my camera out right here and double-sided sticky taped. There's the XM Plus receiver. We got rid of that. Good riddance. Okay, now we have a clear shot at the board. So let's take a look at the board. So when you take a look at the board, right on the top, you're going to see some pads. You're going to see the RX3, TX3, RX4, and TX4 and CRT. So we're going to either use the RX TX3 combo or the RX4 and the TX4 combo. So let's go into Betaflight and check out if they are available. Okay, so here we are in Betaflight. Let's go into the ports tab and take a look here, see what is available and what is not. So UART1 is taken up by the GPS. UART2 is where the receiver was, serial RX, so we're going to turn that off. UART3 is taken up by the TVS Smart Audio, so we won't be using the TX and the RX3 pads. We'll just leave that as is. UART4, that is empty and it is open to use, as well as UART5 if I can find where UART5 pads are, but we already know where the UART4 pads are, so we're going to go ahead and use that. So I'm going to turn that on for the serial RX. save and reboot, and go into the configurations tab and scroll on down and to where it says the receiver. It is still serial based, the receiver, and it is not S-bus anymore. We're going to choose crossfire now, and we're going to go down. I also have telemetry already turned on, so let's go ahead and save and reboot. And basically that is it. So let's go back to the quadcopter. So here's the JST 4-pin connector that you can get from AliExpress, link down below. They come in a pack of 10. I've already used some. This is my second bundle. I've already done more than 10, or let's see, I've done 12 so far. So there's 8 left. So we're going to use one of these. There's the female connector on one side and the male connector on the opposite side. So let's get one of these and cut it in half, and I'm going to be using the female half of the connector wires. Okay, there's the female half, and let's go ahead and solder this onto the UART RXTX number 4. Okay, the pads are tinned, and our female side of the connector are tinned as well. So let's go ahead and put it together. So you're going to hit the green wire and the yellow wire to the TX and the RX. I usually put the green wire on the TX and the yellow wire on the RX, but you can do it the opposite way. If it doesn't match up, you can go ahead and switch the pins on the connector itself later on. So it really doesn't matter which one you put on either of the pad. Oh, there's my TX4. And the RX wire on the RX4. Okay, so looking at the board, I don't see any ground and 5-volt pads. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and use the wiring harness that the old receiver was plugged into on this port right here, and we're just going to use the 5-volt and ground source from here and connect it to the 5-volt and ground wire on the new harness. Okay, here's the connector with just the positive and the negative left. Took the signal wire out. I'm going to connect it to the wiring harness. Flip it over and connect the connector back in here. There you go. So we have the 5-volt ground, TX, and the RX, and it is prepped, ready to go. So I'll twist the wires a little bit, and all is done. And so here's my master EP2 receiver. So let's go ahead and connect it and plug it into Betaflight and see if it's correctly configured. Okay, so here we are back in Betaflight, and let's go into the receivers tab first. Let's go to the ports tab. Yep, it is turned on to serial RX. Configuration, crossfire. Let's go into our receivers tab and check it out. Okay, so nothing is going on here, and that is because the RX and the TX needs to be swapped out. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so we're back on the table, so we're going to unplug this. Now remember, this receiver is the master receiver. You don't want to mess up anything on here. So all of the quadcopters should connect to this receiver and work. So our problem now is here. We have the TX and the RX mixed up. You can go ahead and desolder it and re-solder and switch the TX and the RX wires, but easily you can do it right here as well. So let's just go ahead and pop off the yellow wire. Do this way and get two of them at the same time here. Lift up those little tabs. That locks in the wires. Pull them out. So simply put the yellow one where the green one used to be. Push back those little tabs so it locks the pins once you insert them back. So put this one at the end and put the green one in here. Make sure they go in all the way and lock into place and they don't come out. There you go. Now let's go ahead and connect the receiver once again. Go back in Betaflight and see if it's correct. Alright, so here we are back in Betaflight, and let's go into our receivers tab, and voila, receiver tab is connected now. There's my throttle, yaw, pitch and roll. Everything is working. So here what you want to do is change out auxiliary 12. That's where the RSSI used to be. So you just want to click it so that it says disabled and save and reboot, or save. Now you want to go into the OSD, and now what you need to do is turn on link quality, and usually RSSI I just leave it the way it is, and then go ahead and place the link quality values where you want it on the display and save. And there is all there is to it. Disconnect and you are good to go. So back at the table and we are done. So what I'm going to do is twist the wires a little bit more and have the connector just coming out right here and put everything back. All done. Let's see if it works. Poster putty on the receiver. I'll put it right here. More poster putty. Secure it like that. All right, let's see if it works. All right, the Tyro 129 is ready to go with the ELRS receiver. Got a battery hooked up now, so let's power it up. And we got signal, so we are good to go. Let's see. Yes, buzzer is working, so let's arm it and see if it works. There you go. Another quadcopter ready to go with the ELRS receiver, the EP2. All I need to do is hook it up whenever I want to fly my Tyro 129, as well as any of my quads with this one receiver. All right, now here it is with the crossfire receiver and the antenna just temporarily placed there. Power it up. And here's my TX16S Gold with the crossfire module. Let's check it out. There you go. Works with both platforms. No issues. So here is the male side of the connector, and that is the part that you want to solder onto your ELRS receiver or your crossfire receiver or what have you not. Now, if you have just one receiver and you want to fly all your quads, you can go ahead and use all of the female connectors that come in this package. There's 10 of these, so you got 10 female connectors and 10 male connectors. So you can use all 10 female connectors on 10 quadcopters, and you can use one ELRS receiver, okay? Or you could do it this way. Just use 9 female connectors on 9 quadcopters, save one female connector, and switch out the rest of your quadcopters if you have more than 10, let's say. In this way, mathematically, you can connect 18 quadcopters using 9 of these male connectors instead of the female connectors this time, and you can add 9 more quadcopters and make a master receiver with the female connector instead of the male connector. You understand what I'm trying to say? And if you want to splurge and get, 2 receivers per each connection, so total of 4, you can still have 16 quadcopters with the purchase of just one of these 10 connector ensembles. So that'll do it then for this video. So if you want to try this for yourself and you come across some issues like not enough UARTs or anything like that, put a comment down below. I'll try my best to help you figure it out. So with that, thank you so much for tuning in and watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you again next time. Nice.